Hi, this is Mikael Anyana, and what I've learned from this midterm lesson is that I was able to identify the sentence structure of each sentence given in the module. And probably my favorite part was using the method SPOKA, which means S for subject, P for predicate, and O for object, C for complement, and A for adjunct. The predicator indicates as a verb. The subject comes before the verb, verb phrase, or predicator. The object associates with the predicators in terms of meaning, and it signifies the person or things that are affected by the action or state. The complement is closely similar to object, but when it comes to meaning, it gives a definition on the subject or the object. The adjunct relates to the tone, location, or speaker's attitude. Its role is to add extra circumstantial information of any bounds. I was also able to learn how to change the active to passive voice and passive to active. There are two types of passive voice: the agented passive and the agentless passive. In the agented passive, the agent of the action is indicated. It is introduced by the preposition such as by. For example, John saw the boy. The sentence is an active voice, and the boy was seen by John, which is the passive voice. I've also learned about how to identify what type of referential question does each sentence possesses. Um, the different kinds of referential question in layman's term, the word my refers to AGA as what the concept notes implied. The pronoun or determiners are used to identify each noun in a text. Number two, the lexical cohesion. In collocation, the word lecture, attendance, and pass comprises with unity in a text. The word goes each other where lecture attendance is compulsory in order for the student to pass. Number three is the lexical cohesion. Whether it goes with synonymy or collocation, it is profound to coincide the explanation of the word us, and together being used as a similar meaning and words that goes together. Number four is the coherence in discourse. There is a request being implied in the sentence. On June 12, I stand. On June 12, I stand states to perform an action, and the second states that the request but not the reason. It is not being analyzable. There are no cohesive features of utterances in the discourse. In the discourse featured, the perks of believing yourself throughout the day is a great chance of opportunities that is waiting for you to wave back. Looking at myself in the mirror leads me questioning myself. Am I applying what needs to be applied? Am I really learning? Back at my old self, whenever I handle an activity, I read and try to understand the given context on it. However, there are times I get lost and end up going with the flow just to consider things done. But just like seasons, people also change, not just the physical appearances, the physical attributes, but including their mental, emotional, and spiritual attributes. Now that my principal has acquired clearer vision, the tranquility of structure learning came loosened towards my apprehension. I've also learned so much by far from the past three modules, and I could say that by learning those and applying what I've learned is something that um, a person carry throughout time. By that, it would be easier for us to encounter much related context as we have made a share throughout um, the things we already familiarized with. Um, in Module 3, I've acquired sufficient knowledge about the variety of literature, prose, fiction, and drama. These literature contains Um, reliable information for better comprehension. The context also included the forms which are implemented in the literary for it to be recognized for the foundation of the literature. The context also included the forms which are implemented in the literary for it to be recognized the foundation of the literature. These learning content are crucial in structure learning as it coincide to the history of literature. I've also noticed how the lesson highlights the elements of prose fiction the characterization, plot, conflict, language, etc. Having the opportunity to obtain such knowledge on this module made me realize that if I can pull this one out, then I can pull out better on the next one. Another thing I've learned is to identify the major element of prospection. I remember when I first encountered this lesson, I gave confusions and all, but as I read along, the context isn't that bad after all. It has information that aren't hard to grasp.